Okay, so this is going to be weird, but today we are talking about Laval Rocket news, and a guy who actually is a part of the Canadiens. He signed with the regular club on a contract, but he is playing in Laval. So today we are taking our sights over to the Rocket and talking about Nick Beaudin. And this is an interesting name because Nicolas Beaudin, if you've been interested in older draft prospects, you would have recognized this guy as an old first-round pick from the 2018 draft. 27th overall by the Chicago Blackhawks, there was a period where Beaudin was seen as a potential stud, as a point-per-game guy with the Drummondville Voltigeurs in the QMJHL. In fact, let's just go out there and read the scouting report just for the laughs here. Beaudin is a diminutive yet cunning defenseman that is able to use his size to his advantage. Yeah, diminutive is like small, little, that's kind of the word it means. I mean, he's 5'11", 168, so definitely not the biggest guy in the world, but diminutive, yeah, that's a big word for a small adjective. His mobility is all but elite at this point. He primarily uses his speed to open up passing and shooting lanes in the offensive zone. With and without the puck, Beaudin stays composed and in position, allowing him to analyze situations effortlessly and make those calculated decisions. Defensively, he is assertive, and though he isn't able to impose himself physically, he uses his vision and quickness to take away options and put pressure on the opposition. He plays a structured game offensively, and he does the little things right. His ability to recognize where the puck is, where it's going to be, and why it's going to be there is an indicator of his high-level hockey sense. When you put together skill, speed, and excellent decision-making as well as he does, that translates to on-ice productivity and power play time. All in all, Nicolas Beaudin is an offensive defenseman that understands his own game well and ever seeks to expand upon his strengths. Honestly, from reading this scouting report and watching some of the old tape of Beaudin from the QMJHL days, you would think we were talking about a Quinn Hughes, Cale Makar kind of guy. But very few players are actually able to succeed at the top level in the NHL whilst being that small and having that offensive touch. For Beaudin, he unfortunately was not one of them. He made the Blackhawks for a few years, never really full-time, but he played a little bit, and he spent most of his time actually developing in the AHL. Last year, he was with the Rockford IceHogs and the Laval Rocket, posting up 25 points in 39 Laval games. This year, though, Beaudin still signed with the regular Montreal Canadiens till the end of the season on a $775,000 deal. He's got 6 points in 13 games played, with a projection of about 24 points. So, slower point production, he's not producing as much as he's had in the past, and the Canadiens have a very odd situation with their defensemen on the team. To help us out, we're going over onto an article from earlier today by Mark Dumont. Montreal Canadiens' defensive situation is ripe for a trade. Now, where we're going with this entire thing is the fact that the Montreal Canadiens right now have 8 healthy defensemen: Michael Matheson, David Savard, Harris, Lindstrom, Barron, Struble, Gooley, and Kovacevic. And yeah, it doesn't take a genius to tell. That's a lot. The same situation, though, is unfolding in the AHL, and this is something that I don't think a lot of Canadiens fans have really maybe paid attention to, and as well, their logjam is a little more intense given that there are players playing in the ECHL waiting for a promotion. Arber Xhekaj, Logan Mailloux, Toby Bisson, Nicolas Beaudin, Brady Keeper, Matthias Norlinder, William Trudeau, Oliver Galipeau are all available to head coach Jean-Francois Houle. ECHL players such as Miguel Tourigny, Chris Ortiz, and Noah Lauan, I think I butchered that, my bad, they all possess AHL contracts but are yet to play a game with the Rocket. Now here's the thing with Beaudin. This is talked about in the article. Beaudin is in a weird spot because he's already requested more ice time in Laval or elsewhere, whereas Oliver Galipeau has played well enough to deserve an uptick in usage, but there simply aren't enough minutes to go around. Linked is a tweet made by Anthony Marcotte, which is translated from French into English here. Nick Beaudin would like to have a chance to play more, whether it be in Laval or elsewhere. He entrusted this entire sentiment to his agent. For now, the Rocket prefers to use Logan Mailloux, Arber Xhekaj, and William Trudeau in offensive roles. Developing story. This tweet was made from 2 days ago, and if you want to talk about these guys who are, let's just say, taking up ice time from Nick Beaudin, let's go over each of them right now. Logan Mailloux has 20 points in 32 games played. That's pretty good, honestly. I mean, is it going to be top-tier defenseman numbers that translates to the NHL? Who really knows? We'll see. Arber Xhekaj and William Trudeau each have 10 points on the year, but Xhekaj has done so in half the amount of games, 12 games played and 10 points. William Trudeau has 30 games played. So for Nick Beaudin, being in a spot where he's like second, third, fourth fiddle in terms of the Laval Rocket and their offensive usage, it is interesting to see that he's going out there and requesting not necessarily a trade, but more ice time. And if he's not able to get that, then he will request a trade. It's a very peculiar spot because Beaudin, as we did say, he is on the Canadiens' regular payroll. He technically is Habs property. And he does actually expire as an RFA, so there will be some level of control that the Montreal Canadiens possess once he does expire at the end of this year. So whether or not he exercises any sort of right to get traded elsewhere, or he wants to not re-sign and hold out for arbitration or whatever, who really knows what the entire deal is going to be here with this player. But one thing's for sure, the Montreal Canadiens have so many gosh darn defensemen that it's going to be interesting to try to fit everybody in at once, not just with the NHL team, but in the AHL too. Now, it's good to have options, we always know this, but when it comes to the point that some of your guys are legitimately requesting out, or some of your guys are not developing in the ways that you want them to, maybe then it becomes a problem. But of course, all of this stems from your basis of what you think of Nicolas Beaudin as a player anyway. Like, if the Canadiens signed this guy to a what is it, one-way, two-way? Let's go and check it out here. Oh, it's a two-way contract, so he's getting $90,000 in the AHL. Still pretty good salary, not gonna lie. I mean, playing pro hockey is a privilege. Making anything above like $60,000, $70,000 doing it a year is already fine. But if you were signing Nicolas Beaudin because you wanted him to be that first-round caliber prospect that he was in 2018, that Quinn Hughes kind of mold, and you wanted this guy to translate that to the NHL, then you probably would have been disappointed. I mean, this guy got a two-way contract for a reason. We knew he was an AHL guy. And I'm not too familiar with how the Chicago Blackhawks of all teams looked 2 years ago, but if he was not able to crack that team, then I don't know what else there is to say about it, man. Like, if you wanted to talk about Chicago now, I mean, most of their AHL guys are in the NHL, so maybe send him back. Maybe the Canadiens could trade Beaudin back to Chicago, like when they acquired him initially for Cam Hillis. That was a trade from just over a year ago that I don't think anybody remembers, and it's how Beaudin found himself in Montreal in the first place. So now, he went from a team in Chicago that debatably has one of the most overused prospect systems because all their AHL guys are in the NHL, to Montreal, where they have so many NHL and AHL defensemen that he's not even able to get playing time. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about Beaudin requesting more ice time, and by proxy requesting a trade if he's not able to get that ice time? Does this interest you as a potential opportunity for the Canadiens to make a trade? Either they trade Beaudin himself, or they trade somebody else away to accommodate for Beaudin's ice time request. Of course, the Montreal Canadiens coaching staff is not really too responsible for what happens in the AHL with their own systems over there, so whatever the Habs and Rocket do are completely separate from a team coaching point of view. Whether or not you think Beaudin deserves more ice time or not, that remains to be seen. If you're a fan of the Rocket, then let me know your thoughts in the comments. How does this make you feel? This entire conversation of Beaudin wanting out or wanting more ice time being placed underneath Arber Xhekaj, William Trudeau, and Logan Mailloux. Is it justified? Is it not? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye.